All right, we're going to get started here in just a minute. So get ready for AI Biz Hour.
It's going to be here pretty quick. I'm going to try to do something today. I'm going to see if while I'm doing the show, I'm going to go on my phone and see if I can actually go over and be a troll live on air, just for kicks and giggles to see if we can try something new with the show based on inputs from some very great people that I respect totally, and we'll probably talk about maybe some things on that level at some point. And here is Andy. Let me get Andy up as the co-host. And today is Thursday, March 13th, 2025. And today's subject is, what are you building? I have quite a few things that I'm working on. I finally getting Andy into the co-host section. Carlos, how are you doing, and what are you working on?
Right now, I'm banging my head against the kitchen counter because I'm arguing with Cursor AI, trying to get it to adjust my code so that I can allow my Replit host to be able to interact with the files, but it added some kind of Vite.js configuration file, and it doesn't want to give Replit the access. And so Replit was like, hey, I need this to be over here in the host section. And then I give that to Cursor, and Cursor says, all right, yeah, I'm on it. And then, two prompts later, I do a merge from a development branch to the main branch using a GitHub repository, all kinds of stuff, right? Stuff I didn't even know how to do 72 hours ago, sorry. And come to find out, Cursor is not doing anything I'm asking you to. So I'm having a great time.
Last night I was working on it with a tool, and all of a sudden I was told that I can't that all my credits were done, and so I had to send this support thing, and they said that they fixed it this morning. But it's really a frustrating when you are working on something and you're especially, we're so used to having things immediately accessible, and when it goes down for even a minute, or you're having the frustrations that you're having, you just, I got a hammer next to my desk right here, and every now and then I smash my big thumb or my forehead, and it relieves the frustration and pain. Just kidding. Andy, how's it going this morning or this afternoon?
All
All
right. I'm on
right.
mic. Okay, cool. I'm on the mic right up here. So that's fantastic. You can hear me, right? Cool.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep. Hey, we're broadcasting live for everybody who's watching or listening. We're broadcasting on my Twitch channel on X. I'm doing a live broadcast of this, and you can listen in or joining the X space is fantastic. It's the audio space, so you can talk to us and be part of the show. Or if you want to just go on YouTube, you can watch this show on YouTube, depending on whatever you have. You can put it on your TV, you can put it on whatever. So that's fantastic. And by the way, if you run a local LLM, you don't ever run out of tokens. Just saying, right? You don't run out of tokens if you've got a local M. And I actually did that last night. I downloaded LM Studio. I did a post on it today, and obviously it's not as fast as ChatGPT or Grok. It probably doesn't give you as much depth of information, but I've been using it to create some new prompts and personas so that I can write and create writings and content in different ways. And it's working great for that. So even on a little tiny Mac Mini with an M1 chip and 8 or 16 gigs of RAM, I forget, it'll run the 7 billion parameter models of like Gemma or DeepSeek or whatever, and Llama. I've got all those loaded. I can switch them anytime I want, load up that model and do it. And it's cool. I'm not sure how useful it is, but it's only been one day. So we're going to see how that works. But I was inspired because of what we said yesterday in yesterday's show. So if you didn't listen to that, go back and listen to the recording. It was like 3 hours long, but the first hour was some really cool stuff. And then I looked up a YouTube video on how to run a local model. And, I just followed the instructions. I'm, dumb like everyone, so I can follow instructions and figure it out. And I did. And now I've got it running on my machine. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I like it.
It's awesome. And I have a second account and I am actually on Coffee and AI Space with Chris and Alex Northstar and Alex Utopia. And I do have my hand up in my second account. So I don't know. I'm gonna I don't now this other account is known as kind of the spiritual guru, not truly a troll. Maybe I should make just a troll account. I am trying to be the king troll or something like that to that effect. We're going a little sideways here, but I think that it's the one nice thing about um X is it's a playground for creativity and networking. And because it's got all these features, it's always really, I think, important to push the boundaries and see what can be done. And I think everybody should be doing that, especially with AI in their careers, and try to understand, what. And also with, I were we having a conversation? Was it yesterday or that how important it is? No, this was with tech and schools, how important it is to try to break any a prompt that you're doing or an AI model, and how important it is to understand the parameters of its limitations. And so me trying to troll is, I guess, kind of a something to that effect. Does that make any sense, Andy, or am I off the reservation?
Well, you're always off the reservation, but not too far in this case. So yeah, you always want to try to break things, right? So just general principles. If you have a system, you want to pressure where it actually functions. And the only way to do that is to check and see where it breaks. I mean, that's basic computer programming 101. So yeah. And don't get this twisted. Prompt engineering is computer programming with natural language. That's all it is. You're saying create this idea, do this idea, build these things, create this output, go ahead and build all the stuff for me. And in the background, it does all the work and then gives you the answer. Well, that's no different than going to Google and getting an answer or going somewhere else. It's just gathering all that information and then consolidating it to get a response. So you're you're doing the basics of computer programming that we've been focused and working on for 60, 70 years since the 60s, right? So I mean, think about it. They built all, so think of it this way. Every World War I plane, every World War II plane, and every single plane through Vietnam was built with a slide rule and architects on big drafting tables calculating it out by hand using slide rules and abacuses, seriously, to figure out the calculations, including the SR-71, which expands because of the heat. And so they built it so it leaks on the ground. And then as it flies, it gets hotter and expands. And so the plane actually grows in length. It seals the engine compartments and seals the fuel tanks because of the titanium and the heat of it. They did that with a slide rule. And so today we have computers that do all that stuff. And all we did was take the idea of building really important life critical things in the military and turn it into building software to build the stuff. Then we use software to do other things. And now today we have a benefit of it because we're using natural language models to just get the answer. And so that's kind of cool. It's doing all the same steps like we talked about yesterday. It's just doing it all in a multimodal way. So it's all together, which is really freaking amazing.
Great. And I really, I really want to hear from people today that are building in the audience. So please, it's important. One of the things that this space is really great for is that we have people that are actually doing things, that are generating money, that are developers, that are business owners, that are entrepreneurs, that are venture capitalists, that are at high levels of business. We have someone who comes here often who is an advisor for governments and AI. So, and the thing of it is if you are these days, one of the biggest things I did a search the other day in terms of pains and concerns. And one of the biggest concerns people are having these days is my job going to be taken over by AI or and we had someone on Friday who very knowledgeable in terms of Google architecture and help build a whole bunch of stuff. And he that this person was concerned about it. And so, what we're doing is we're creating an incubator here for people that are builders, that are developers, but also that are venture capitalist business owners. And there's someone here, I'm not going to say, but is actively looking for developers. Now, one thing that pisses me off, Andy, about this whole thing, when I first started to talk on X, I went down the rabbit hole with this guy who was a total turd, in the sense that he was like, oh yeah, I can do this and I can do that. And AI was pretty new back then. And so you started to believe. And so then I was, I spent, I don't know, more hours conversing with this person than I should have. And then I was like, okay, now show me what you've done and let me know somebody who you've worked with before. And there was no one. And that's one thing that we provide too. Like, you don't want to waste your time with people that aren't the real thing, and we can't have that. So everybody who's here, who's is the real thing, you got to speak up. You've got to market yourself. You've got to, you might have clients now, but you never know what can happen in the future. So it's important that you start to build your own brand. And here on X, this is really one of the best places for it. So I can't recommend enough that if you are somebody who is building, who is working with AI, no matter what level, as long as you're, you might be starting looking for clients, but speak up, tell us what you're doing, build in public. And, in the end, it is going to, the All In podcast is what supposedly one of the biggest podcasts in the world. Those guys have buco bucks. They have loads of money. Why are they wasting their time doing YouTube videos? I mean, it's because it adds to their portfolio. In the end, it helps their bottom line. It's something that it's part of their business model. So I think that it's really important that people kind of step up and start talking, explain what they're doing, and show to people that they're the real thing, build relationships, and then always have an opportunity to make some money. And you won't be, kind of nervous or afraid as this AI freight train comes running down the track. Any thoughts, Andy?
Yeah, I think it's more like a tidal wave, right? A freight train you can just stand to the side, but the problem is it's not a freight train, it's a tidal wave. It's going to hit everything, everyone, everywhere. And this show is kind of like getting your own surfboard so you can be on top of the wave, surfing the wave, getting a benefit from it, as opposed to just feeling like you're going to get crushed by it. So if you're a business owner, we can help you with understanding. Ask your questions. Nothing's out of bounds. We're all learning this stuff. We didn't, 6 months ago, a year ago, we knew nothing about it, nothing, and started this show because I was interested in saying, I think this is really cool. I don't know anything. Please come help teach me, help show us what's going on. So that's why we started the whole thing. And John came on, and now he's the host, and he's fantastic. And we're just, keep on going. So, hey, if you are listening, if you're in the listeners, talking to you, Zoo, Rutro, Billionaire, Psyop, you guys, if you're here, raise your hand, grab the mic, ask some questions, and then we'll be here to
Andy,
either answer or figure it out together.
That's right. That's right. I was gonna say, Andy, you got to be nice, but then I was like, well, that's a stupid thing to say.
I'm nice. Wait, I can't call them out. What? Come on. Listen, I'm calling out people who've been on the show, who've been in the listener for a long time. I know that they're there. Jason is awesome. Sannon's awesome. Right. So let's get some other. Zoo has been here like every week.
I think I think we could call out Sue and say, come on, say hello. But I don't know exactly what he does seem to come here on a regular basis. We're getting it, this is very nice to see people on a regular basis, but it's also good to hear from them and hear them talk. When I first started, so I play music and I play in front of audiences and stuff. I played at CBGB's. We were asked to be a house band. I played at the Viper Room, blah, blah, blah. But I always have periods of times where I stop playing. And so what happens is I get nervous as crap at first, and then when you start doing it, it kind of goes away. And when I first started doing spaces, man, my energy was up in my throat because I was very self-conscious and a little concerned about doing it right. And so that's something that everybody goes through.
You should be on camera. So if you're on camera, get that hair going. Man, I'm telling you, people love it. I'm just jealous because I don't have any hair. And the hair that I have, I don't want to show, so I just shave it all off. I do see some hands. Hey, John, do we have any news today besides that Gemma came out with Google came out with a new Gemma model that can run on small CPUs? It's a 4 billion parameter model, so it can run on a small machine that's got 8 gigs of memory, and it'll actually do work for you. Other than that, uh, are there any other news items? Did you hit the news yet today, or we just want to go to the hands? Well, let's go to the hands. I don't
Yeah,
remember
I'm
the
so
order.
I've been
Oh, go. Oh, yeah.
I've been
Okay, go ahead.
talking, and the whole time the thing's been muted. So I gotta get my finger a
That's a
little bit
problem
better.
between the operator and the
Yeah,
clicker.
yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah. So to get back to what you were saying, yeah, we do have some news. We didn't get to the news yet. We're kind of doing a little bit of pulling the audience into the mic, into the speaking position, which we seem to be doing a much better job of today because now we have 4 people waiting to talk. One thing I do want to iterate, though, again, is if you are a troll, you must be a professional troll. Okay, somebody who really has something absurd to say, and then we'll give you some airspace. So this is also, we're not just looking for business owners and entrepreneurs and venture capitalists, as well as developers at whatever stage. But if you are a troll, you better bring your A game here because we eat trolls. But that might be fun. We can go, Andy. We can go to news.
let's hit the news. A couple things, and well, you know what, John, you're the host today. Why don't you just decide if you want to go to the hands or you want to go to the news, whatever you want.
Okay, my inner voice is speaking to me. I okay. The inner voice says, "Hit the news. We'll do one story, and then we'll go to a hand." So for the
Okay,
first,
but don't read the whole thing. Just give us the short version.
yes. Okay, so Microsoft expands Copilot with automated task agents. So Microsoft announces a major update to its Copilot platform, integrating fully autonomous AI agents capable of handling complex workflows like drafting reports, blah blah blah, meeting schedules, doing all of this other stuff. Which is, the big thing is the cost, and also, I guess, just the cost in your own creativity. It's going to make a shift to agentic workflows, assistance. Now, the thing is somebody can get this, but if they don't know, we were talking to Shannon today, and Shannon mentioned negative prompting. Now, unless you've done Google AdWords or whatever, you're probably not too familiar with negative keywords. But if, let's say, you want to discuss a subject, and there's a location, and the subject's only relevant for a specific city, let's say Atlanta, Georgia, or whatever. To really target that, you have to put in every state and county and country in the world that isn't Atlanta, Georgia, and then that what the output will be specifically targeted for that, and that's super duper powerful. um I don't
Yeah, but it sounds like Copilot, Microsoft is just finally catching up to. They're just catching up to Chat GPT because they've had agents, they've had multiple step activities. It sounds like Copilot is lagging right now, and they're just on the back end catching up to the features everybody else has. So it looks like somebody else is doing a feature first, then they go, yeah, we can do that, and then it takes uh, 3, 4, 5 weeks for them to figure out how to do that, and then they do a big announcement like it's a big deal. Like, yeah, okay, whatever. We can already stack GPTs on top of each other. You can use AI Tutor, which, by the way, is everything. You guys should all do that. You should get AI Tutor and use that great tool. And by the way, Ross, you should sponsor the show. Just saying, right? Or tell us that it's okay for us to sponsor you. But yeah, but every time Microsoft says we did this cool thing, it's like, yeah, they're second or third. They're not the first movers. But okay, what's next one? You got to unmute.
So the next one is, I just clicked on something, and I think that hold on 1 minute here. Okay, here we go. So we've got the hands up. I think the first hand was Jack. Let's go with Jack, and then we'll get back to the news stories. Jack, how are you doing? And Jack, are you a developer? And if a coder, what's your background?
So first, I put my hand up so that Andy wouldn't get on my case. So I'm speaking. I do. So yeah, I'm a coder. My background is multi-axis servo programming and robotics in an industrial space. So, and I also handle, as you know, compliance management as well. So that's international harmonized standards for electrical engineering. And it just so happens that I'm also an enterprise Copilot user. So I got our company to sign on to the enterprise platform that Microsoft uses. And if you're familiar with Azure and the Azure platform, they have a complete agentic workflow that's completely programmable. And what they're starting to do now is blend those two environments together. So they have the public facing Copilot for Microsoft and home users and the casual user. And on the back end, they're tying Copilot in with the Azure platform, which gives you a full agentic workflow that is pretty complex, pretty comprehensive. And I would argue they don't do a very good job of their publicity on what it's capable of. So, as you know, I'm an AI Tutor fan and user. What AI Tutor has been doing is making it accessible at the educational level and for the casual coder. So my background is not in CSS and Next.js and web design. So I've literally made a transition because of Ross's platform into programming as a web designer and as an AI developer that I've never done before. So it's essentially a career shift for me. And because of that, it's given me a much deeper understanding of all these tools and how to use them. And it's benefited me with the application of Copilot on the Azure platform in my professional career as well. So that's just my 2 cents on the topic.
And
What do you think's have you done local? Because I just created my own little local using LM Studio. I know it's cheap, it's free. But I
Yes.
just wanted to scroll around with it. Are you using something like that? And have you found the difference between like local stuff and
Yeah.
using the other ones? Because I love the fact that you can change the context window, you can change the temperature so you can get a better response or more consistent response, or you can get the crazy one where you ask the same question, it gives you like 3 different answers.
Oh yeah.
Have you farted around with that?
Yeah, so it's interesting you mentioned that, and I want to circle back to your point about the tidal wave. So my first thought about this was, ooh, I want to develop stuff for my company so that I'm more valuable, right? And I was like,
On
oh,
that.
but I have IP concerns because I work for a professional organization, right? Our IP is super important. So I said, how am I going to do this so that I don't share our IP? I know I'll get LM Studio and I'll create our own RAG. And then I'm going to present it internally in the company so that others can use it. And our IP is our AI, our super intelligent being within the company that knows everything. So we don't have to onboard and train new people in roles as engineers, as marketers, whatever it may be, they would have access to everything. And as soon as I started doing that, I started playing around with those things like temperature and all that. And there's definitely value in that because you have much more control. No sooner did I do that than Microsoft came out with Copilot. And I'm like, hey, wait a second. They're CMMC compliant. They have access to all our information, including emails, including Teams, including all these different features that probably 80 to 90% of most organizations already use. So I suddenly found myself developing, and this tidal wave just kept drowning me with tools that these bigger organizations have the power to put out there. and I kept feel like I was losing control. And every time I go to develop something, something comes out. So somebody said this online one day, and it really resonated with me, which is you are not going to stay ahead of this. The best thing to do is ride the wave you're on and learn as much as you can.
Yep, 100%. Because if you don't, the tidal wave's gonna go over the top of your business, flood everything, and then destroy everything you worked on.
Yeah,
This is
and
what's
just I'll say last, because I don't want to eat up everybody's airtime. I have lobbied to create a position in my company as the AI go-to person to develop training and whatnot. And I think some of you who know me, like Rutro and others, know that while I was doing that, somebody found out about what I was doing, and I was offered a very high-level job for a large organization that I'm currently interviewing for, that is to do this at the enterprise level throughout the US for like over 900 manufacturers. So that is an ongoing process I'm going through right now. And that's really going to give me the horsepower to come in and be an agent of change in multiple manufacturing sites if this all works out.
So
Absolutely.
We'll see.
That is awesome. Congratulations. That's fantastic. Make sure that you mention that you learned all this stuff from us.
That and Ross. I gotta throw props to Ross and his team too.
Okay, give us half the credit.
Okay.
Give us 10% of the credit.
You'll get plenty. Don't worry.
So Jack, I'm so interested. This is the perfect story for this space. We're not going to take all the credit, of course. We're just going to take. We'll tell.
Yes, we are. We're going to take. I'm going to claim.
No.
We'll get all the
I'll
credit.
tell the story to my friends, and Andy will tell the story to his friends, however they say it. But on the space here, yes, you did it, Jack. You did it. That's the thing. That's the thing that I think you need to. If you could kind of explain a little bit about that, how you by getting the information here and there, like also having doubts and concerns, how you got yourself to this place, because that's the story of the day, I believe.
Well, it's okay. So the real answer is right here in this space. These people, the conversations you have with Shannon, the revenue Ronin, right? Like all the folks, Ross, Rutro, being in the spaces together, John, your agent workflows that you were working on that were so similar to mine, right? All of these things have inspired me to get off my duff and start learning this and actually doing it, not just listening and hearing what's going on, but to actually take action and try this as a tool to learn the programming and do things I haven't done. And it instantly brought value, right? I was offered this. This person pulled me aside while I was representing manufacturers in Tallahassee, and overheard the conversation, pulled me aside and said, "We want somebody like you." That's how that happened. And it's because of all the folks here, being in this community on X, part of the ITT program, your show, the people you bring here are stellar. Like you guys, I don't know how you're finding the talent that you find, but keep doing it. And if I had the money, I'd sponsor you. Maybe after I get the job.
Well, after you get the job,
John, it's because of the show. I'm just taking it, right? It's because of the show that you're going to get a raise, you're going to get a new position, you're going to get a whole new thing in authority. And this is the proof that people who are worried about their jobs, yes, their job may go away, but that doesn't mean that they're going to be unemployed. It just means that there's going to be a whole new opportunity they haven't even opened their eyes to yet. And if they start coming to shows like this, if they start listening to us, if they start subscribing and listening and coming and showing up, this is what's going to happen.
I feel.
And by the way, congratulations, Jack.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations, Jack. It's such a great you got the hero's journey going on, and we just created AIBizHour.com, and one thing that we're going to be doing is put people like Jack on there. If you're okay with it, tell your story. And because I think that right now I recently did a search about concerns and worries, and there is a large population of people that are very concerned. And when you have fear, you become stifled. You can't move, and you're overwhelmed. And so, like the best thing for this, part of the reason why I was doing the show is just so I'm in the middle of it. You're afraid of what you don't know. Everybody, the fear of the dark, the fear of the things that go bump in the night. You don't know what's under your bed. So you sit there and you cower. So, like, by being here, that part of the equation goes away, and you can clearly think and you can clearly make decisions like you're doing, Jack, and you've done. And so I think that's another huge benefit of being here on a regular basis. And yeah, Andy and we had a meeting today with some other folks, and we're like really focusing in on what the show is. And your share today, Jack, really has solidified it. So I would love to get back to you and ask you some more about this in depth, because it's fascinating and it's awesome. If you have any last words, or Andy, but then we'll go to Will, and then Edward, Dev, or TVD, Dev, and Juan Carlos, and everybody just has to put up with my crazy brain a little bit. So Will or Andy?
Thank you for having me on here, sir. I really appreciate you as well as this high value audience. I'm currently developing a decentralized app that will combine both free speech and free market into one. I foresee it growing the crypto market by roughly a factor of 5 to 15 in the near
Okay,
future.
hold. Will. I gotta put you off here. Okay, you're reading from a piece of paper,
No, I'm
correct?
not. Actually, this is what I just came up in my head just now. I could show
Okay,
you my
and
screen. I'm not reading from a piece of paper.
okay. So let me just ask you this: what have you done? Tell me your story. So like, when did you start being a developer, and what have you developed so far?
So far, I got into coding around 2019, late 2019. I went to Rutgers, went to their coding boot camp, studied full stack web development, mostly MERN. And
Okay,
while,
so go on.
all right, while I was in there, like one of the things about me was like my projects, they would always turn up pretty good in my class, but like I wouldn't necessarily say I'm the best programmer myself, just in terms of overall talent. That
Okay,
being
well, hold on. Let me help you out here for a minute. Okay, first of all, you are the best programmer you know. Secondly, that you can do anything if given enough time, and if you haven't figured out what to do yet, you can learn it. Those are the two most important things. Number one is I can build anything that you put in front of me, and number two, going to be your words. So you say it again, but now say, this is what I've done in AI. This is how I'm doing it. Just like Jack did. All right. Just follow what Jack did.
Andy, you don't tell people what to do.
honestly, I was like looking at some of the code that for my own database just now, like just trying to figure out how to build some of this stuff, like while Jack was speaking.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we've established that you're the real thing and you know what you're doing. You went to Rutgers, you're from the East Coast, and you're not full of BS. So do you want to continue what you started with?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. So it's a pretty simple like thing I could say I could do within like a month or two. Actually, more like a month or three. Just depending on how much. I know I could get this thing done. So how it works, you have like a simple forum similar to like let's say Reddit. Users can post and ask whatever questions they want. There's various different built-in crypto wallets that they can send transactions from within the app and request an escrow for their transactions. that will host them a bit higher in the algorithm so that their posts are seen more. It will essentially have all the functionality and more of Fiverr and Upwork, but with the usability of Instagram.
Do you have anything mocked up at this point, or and why are you sharing this with everybody? Are you looking for people to work with, or
Yes,
you?
I'm looking for investors to make this vision real.
So what of it? So this is what my understanding. This is what I've done. So I've got some ideas. What I've done is actually made AI agents that can do it, that showed proof of concept, and I'm building it as much as I possibly can on my own before I really inform anyone, because otherwise it's like it's just talk. I went to and Andy co-hosts this investors group that has venture capitalists, and I went there with an idea and they were like, okay, so let's see it. And I'm like, oh, well, actually, I'm looking. And they were like, go away, unless you've got something to show us, or, and even better yet, something that's in the market that's already working. We really don't want to talk to you. So it's kind of harsh, but, that's kind of the reaction you get from venture capitalists. You got to kind of really have something to show. Are you anywhere there yet, or do you want to come back in a week or two with some stuff you can show people?
I'm just going to be honest with you. Like, this thing, it requires a lot of work, both in terms of cybersecurity, in terms of like just overall, uh, like not just in terms of cybersecurity, but it uses a lot of different technologies as well, just to build later functionality onto it. Because it's more than just, let's say, a social media app where users can post and trade stuff that they would on TikTok Marketplace. I plan on allowing it to have its own built-in smart contracts as well. So,
Well, so we're gonna have a little thing just for developers, and we'll DM you about it, where developers can show their ideas to people. And yeah, but I highly recommend. And Andy, you throw in your what you think of. I highly recommend I mean, if you're a developer, you can at least kind of build a very rudimentary version of it. Isn't that correct? Something that but doesn't have all the features, but at least show what it looks like and why anybody would care about it.
once I get the minimum viable product done, honestly, I probably could just, from the funding it receives, roll it onto the market. It's just that the thing is that just in terms of securing the app, the fact that it will use crypto, I
Taking
would,
up a lot, Will. You're taking up a lot of air right
yeah,
now.
yeah, I'd much
You
rather
got to
have
get to
it.
the point.
I definitely would need some professional support on this, outside of my own expertise at the moment.
All right. Well, we're gonna go to the next hand, but I believe in what you're doing, and bring back, come back here on a regular basis and build relationships with people. Show people what you're doing. That's the whole key. That's the greatest thing about X, I believe, is networking. And by talking, by showing up here and talking, people start to understand your personality. They can, you do some DMs, you do a video meet, they start to trust you, and it opens doors. So I think that's super important. So thank you. Andy, do you have anything you want to ask Will?
Yeah, you need a prototype. You need something that works, so you can then show people your vision of what it is. And here's the other thing: ask other people if they have the same problem as you. Right? What's the problem you're actually solving? But okay, listen. There's a bunch of spaces that talk about how to pitch to investors and how to create products. We can go do that, but we're talking about how we're going to how we turn AI into business value, right? How can you find out what a business owner has as a problem, help them solve that business owner problem with AI, right? Answering the phones. And the difference is, does it cost $35,000 a year in the United States to hire somebody for 18 bucks an hour so that they can answer the phones, right? Or can you do it for 300 bucks a month And then instead of it being $36,000 plus all the other costs and taxes, it comes out to $3,000 a month or $3,000 a year. That's how we're solving business problems with AI right now. So if you can do that, cool, awesome, fantastic. Come tell us about it. Make a prototype. Let us know how it goes, or show us the one you've got. That's when people are going to sign up to buy your stuff.
Absolutely. So we're going to go to Dev and then TVD. Then is it Dev or Edward? Dev, then Edward, then TVD, and then Juan Carlos. Dev, how you doing?
Hi, AI John. I'm doing okay. I hope you guys can hear me. I just wanted to share, the work I've been doing so far, and let's take it back a little bit. Sometime last week, I made a post about the amount of progress I've been able to make, ever since joining this space, and that was like about late December, I think. And the whole journey started off the night tech in schools, got into the space. I think it was about 28th of December or so. And the whole talk, I just had to take action, and I started learning on how to build, do AI automations and AI agents and all that. So last week was when I shared one of the stuff I've been able to do. And, with the help of Justin's sales and marketing space as well, I was able to upsell to a client, put a chatbot in their website, and then I'm working on an AI agent to manage their WhatsApp for the customer service, customer support. Still working on some personal projects on like a newsletter to help people who send a lot of newsletters. And yeah, basically working on stuff that I know works for businesses, as in for my clients. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you very much.
So Dev, you have a client now from the work that you've been doing? How many you have a couple clients?
I just upselled to a client I have. I developed their website sometime last year. So I just did an upsell to them and they were in for it.
And you upsold them an AI agent and an AI tool?
I actually upsold them a chatbot on their website. I was, just doing that to get them see, the kind of value this is going to offer their brand. And the client was actually happy about it, and talked about what he actually needed, and which was a WhatsApp chatbot that would be able to attend to customers because of the large influx of messages and all that. So he's actually my first client, and yeah, I'm happy about that.
I mean, freaking congratulations. That's huge. I have not heard from many people who have actually been selling AI solutions that aren't big companies, that that are freelancers. That's, hats off to you. Yeah, Dev created a post saying that, by coming here, this was the starting point for that journey. And so anybody who's freaked out about the future, come here. This is a place to make it happen. Andy, do you want to add anything to that? And just thank you for coming here, Dev, and sharing your story. It's really awesome, and we'll have you as a guest on soon. Andy?
That's awesome. Congratulations. It's fantastic. Love it. Love it. Bring it. Do more. Go do it again 100 more times. Change your life, change your family's life, change everybody's life around you. Go lead the way, right? People will follow. You show up.
Awesome. Edward Lynn, how you doing?
It's the best day of my life, Andy. How are you? What's up, John? How are you doing, John?
Very, very good. So what's going on?
Well, one of the things, thank you, John, for taking the time out to speak with me in the past. But we are now using the AI bot for our funeral home and cemetery websites. So we're now capturing data. So when people come to the site, that's one of the things that we're doing now that is very good. We've also now using it to generate marker information. We do memorial markers, upright monuments, flat memorials. So now a family can go, they can give all their information. It's like the Chat GPT. They could put all the information about the memorial, and it'll lay out them a design of what it would look like with the pictures, the bas relief, any appetest that they want. They have that, which is absolutely beautiful. And right now, I'm working on building and putting in what we call After Reach app. So after death has occurred, there are things, and John, he gave me some good ideas when we had our one-on-one of I have professionals that I want to put on the app. So there's 17 legal things that a family has to do after death occurs. And so we're putting this app together so that when a family comes in, they'll get this app and their community could all pick something on like the calendar. If they need to ride somewhere, they need to ride their pet, they need to clean their room out from the decedent's clothing, they need to get to a doctor's appointment because after death occurs, most people walk away, they leave. We want to make sure that our app allows that family to continue to get all the legal stuff done. It will also aid the executor. So those are the three things, that the bot that we got on our websites now. If you guys want to go to one of our websites, which is called Boyd, B-O-D, B-O-Y-D, Funeral Homes, you can see the bot on the bottom. There's a bot that we put a little box. So when people come in, it says, would you like information about advanced planning, or would you like any other information? When it drops down, it gives them a list. And then, like I said, and we're also working on a funeral or employee attendant. So when people come to the website, the AI avatar will walk them through our website. So those are the few things that we got going on. John gave me a lot of great information. I'm in the death care space, very unique, got to be extremely sensitive to what we're doing. Because we don't want it to come across as being insensitive to the families we serve. But thank you, Andy. Thank you, John, and everyone else. I appreciate it. And I love these spaces because it really helps me in the death care space after 37 years, really reaching out to our families and making sure that they are not alone.
I'm just
Oh,
curious.
that's great. What a unique way of applying AI to business. That's fantastic. That's first I've heard of that, but that's freaking cool. I think that's awesome.
And Edward Lynn, how did you find that solution for was it a pre-done solution that you just added to the site, or did you work with somebody, or and moving forward, what are kind of one of those things that we're using the space for is an incubator for people to meet developers, and developers meet business owners, and also to vet people, in terms of to make sure that they're, can do what they say they're going to do, and are there in such a sense, because nobody has time to waste. So I was just curious, how'd you find that solution?
Well, one of the things that we have, John, is with all the different tools, we have a person that does code for us. And me having a meeting with you, I asked them, how can we get a bot or an avatar to start capturing the data of people coming to our website? And I want to track it because we track the analytics. So he went through, told me what he can do, showed us how he can do it, and he created this bot. And also with the memorial, I told him, hey, if a family's up, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, and they want to start creating their memorial, and we send them a link, is there a possible way that AI can get involved? And they said yes. Also, I forgot to tell you one other thing. We're also using it now to generate obituaries. So people can put all the information in and it lays out the obit so that someone can actually read it. And then it goes right to the printer, does all the spell checks and everything. So it's really, really helped. But thank God I do have a coder. Coders can only code when you want them to do what you do. But our problem was these tasks were all done by our funeral directors or our family service counselors, but now they can be done real time, and it gives people more time in front of the family because these tasks are being taken care of by the technology that we have today.
Awesome. That's so cool. Well, thanks for for sharing that with us. And yeah, always it's it, it, it's good to know people, and through, and the voice, so much information is shared in voice, and so it's really good. I believe spaces are a great way to quickly kind of build relationships. So thanks for coming in. And if you want to add anything, or we'll go to TVD.
No, I love the ideas. I hope, Edward, you'll come back and tell us any other cool ideas that you have about how to serve your customers, because that's fantastic stuff. I'm sure other business owners are trying to figure out how to do it, and maybe you should come back and show us exactly how you're how you're implementing that, because I think that's really valuable. And thank you so much for sharing. Appreciate it.
No, thank you again, John. I thank you for the time you spent with me, guys. All I could tell everybody in this space, just remember, when you have access to people and they're telling you right out, hey, they learn this stuff at the same time. They're learning, they're building, you can't break it. And I thank John for sharing that stuff with me. So anything you throw at it, just try it. If it doesn't work, just figure it out. But you have access to good people. And that's one of the things I just want to thank you, John, publicly for allowing that one-on-one. So appreciate it. And Andy, nice to hear you too.
Thank you, Edward, and I appreciate the kind words. That's awesome, and I'm glad that you're moving forward in your goals on this. And yeah, just yeah, please come back and keep us informed. I like your daily walks that you're doing, and I think it's good content, and I really enjoy it. Um, Juan Carlos, and then we'll go with Sonnen.
I think TVD was first, but actually, I got to hop off and get on a
Sorry,
client call.
I
But I just wanted to share
let
real
me.
fast. Go ahead.
Uh, you need to go somewhere?
Yeah. I'm about to hop off. I got a client
He
call.
can go in front of
Uh,
me. He can go first.
Yeah, I appreciate your patience, brother. I just wanted to share that I was talking about an issue that I was having at the beginning of the space here. That was about 52 minutes ago now. And after 52 minutes of messing around with this thing, I actually fixed it about 10 minutes ago. But I ended up just having to revert back to a previous commit that didn't have the issues that I was dealing with. So not exactly a fix, but it was the resolution that I needed to go with. So anybody out there that hasn't been working with AI to make apps, I am 72 hours into it. I am very, very fresh. So just learn from my little mistake. If you can't figure out the issue, just try to revert back to a previous commit that didn't have the issue. But I appreciate y'all.
And just Juan Carlos is off the charts when it comes to anything in terms of marketing, focus, and clarity. And Juan, if you want to just give a little plug for yourself, I would love it, because who knows, there might be someone here who could use your services. And I've gotten to know Juan Carlos, and I vouch for him 110%.
Yeah, man. No, I really appreciate it. Yeah, I consider myself a clarity coach. My background is in marketing. I just don't enjoy, the marketing problems and the marketing solutions just as much as I used to. I did that for 12 years. So now what I like to do is, if you're working on something that you're either trying to launch your business, you have a business that's working, you just want something to work a little bit better. I like to talk with you about, your values, your vision, and if all of that is squared away, then we talk about, what's your customer journey like, and where can we identify opportunities to remove the friction for your customer? Because not only is your clarity important as a business owner or an entrepreneur or a developer, no matter what the case is, your customer clarity is also important, because if your customer doesn't understand what you're providing to them, or if they can't really get it, even if it's the best solution possible for them, they're not going to take it from you. So if you find yourself having issues like that, I would love to have a conversation with you. I do have a newsletter that you can subscribe to that has a 4 email welcome sequence that has some PDFs that you get immediately, well, rather as part of the sequence. And if you just want to chat and kind of get a vibe and see if we have chemistry for your issue, I do offer a 30-minute phone call. That's totally free, no obligation. So, but yeah, John, I appreciate you.
Thank you, Juan Carlos. Yeah, very, very, very sharp. TVD.
Ladies and gentlemen, how are you?
Very good. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me, Andy and John. I appreciate it. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm currently working on a project right now. It's called SolarView AI, and we kind of noticed in the market that NEM3 and solar is slowly going away from cost savings, and so we wanted to figure out how we could deploy AI to kind of solve that problem. And so we do have a solution that's already been deployed, has a proof of concept that's already been done. And what it's solving is just the kind of the basics of sun and shadow detective and any type of layout optimizer or energy predictor, and then utilizing any type of kilowatts over a course of 12 months. And so obviously what our AI does is over learning over time, of course, and using any type of cost calculators. We partnered with all of the financial all the financial firms, using 4 different types of forms of payment. And we've developed a user experience as we are inputting in these 12 months of data, which are the kilowatts of usage from a utility company like a SMUD or a PG&E that we know of. It's building out the proposal in front of the consumers and right in front of them. And what this does is it streamlines the process for the finance partner. Number two, when you're selling solar in a regulated market like California, you need to be licensed, and so it's like selling real estate. So that being said, a solar license needs to be attached to that sale, which then goes over to the CSLB, which is the regulating body that regulates solar and contractors that install solar. So what that does is this streamlines the process for the installing company, because solar is built off of a dealer slash installer model. And so for those that are not familiar with how solar really works, is you have a salesperson, right? And then you have the installers that sometimes that back that salesperson. So just for those two in the audience that not sure how that works. Well, what the AI does is it kind of helps reduce change orders for the installer, which then only incentivizes the installer to kind of work with our partners to utilize this technology. So obviously, what does that do? Right now, solar reps, either it's door knocking or it's presenting to you virtually over Google Meets or Zoom. Soon enough, we're not going to be able to say, "Hey, we're here to save you money," because all these tax breaks are going away. And so we're utilizing this platform to not only just get ahead of these NEM 3 programs slowly going away, but in addition to that, we understand that AI sales bots are coming around the corner. So what's going to happen to all of our solar sales reps? So what we're doing is we partner with SCIA, with the Consumer Protections team, and what we're doing is we're currently training them on how to be account managers slash consumer protection specialists to meet all industry standards. Why? Because we understand at some point the sales reps are just going to need to just show up to these 30-minute presentations and sell under their license number. That's it. The AI chatbots that we're currently in the middle of developing as well to contact our customers and qualify our customers or qualify the lead, or in addition to, if you're in a regulated market or compliance, we've got to be able to think about getting their consents and how did we get their consents, and it needs to be documented, right? So being able to kind of cover all of these different type of pillars.
So TBD, you're sucking the air out of the room a little bit. You got to get right
Okay, go.
to it. You got to get right to it. So who is this directed towards? Is this directed towards people that own solar companies? Is this directed towards financiers? Is it directed towards salespeople? Who's getting the problem solved?
Currently, right now, we're solving the problems for our consumers and our
Who
sales
are your
reps.
consumers?
So there's going to be residents and commercials.
So residential homeowners and people that own commercial buildings.
That's correct.
And what problem are you solving for them?
We're able to utilize cost savings by using the AI. And
So
kind of
you're
all these
saving
different
them
data
money.
sets
You're saving them money
because of the NEM 3,
Okay,
which is
so you're
the standard.
so you're saving them money. How much money are you saving them? 10%, 20%?
Currently, right now, what the case studies are showing, a minimum of 10%. But that kind of varies based off, obviously, the market, tariffs, et cetera, installers,
So I
fees.
have a friend who has a solar company, and there's actually, and it's in California. There's a problem where I am in California because they don't have enough electricity for development. They're trying to build a development, and so the local town is consulting with solar to see if they can make up that problem. Also, there's a big delay sometimes with inputting solar. Does this so? I just kind of want to get to the nut of it as quick as possible, just because everybody's got a lot of busy day and everything, and they kind of
Go
want to
ahead. Go
understand.
ahead.
And
Ask your question.
I don't want to be rude or anything, but let me know if I'm being a little blunt or
Go
whatever.
ahead and ask your question.
So this product is you're going to advertise it for homeowners so they can save money, and you're the conduit between the installer and the service provider? I'm still a little confused here.
Sure, no. So our responsibility is solely on the solar sale. And so what we do is we utilize our AI to be able to provide the best optimized financial package for the customer. This is a solution that benefits the sales rep that's also involved, and also the installation company that's also partnered with the sales rep.
I get it. That's awesome. So where are you with the development of this product?
So we've already brought it out to market. We actually just launched at the beginning of this year. So
And
we're excited.
how are you getting it in front of people, or are you doing online ads, or are you where are you directing your attention towards?
So currently, right now, we're not just onboarding anyone. We have a review process, and so depending on the type of program that either the type of client qualifies for, we'll be able to kind of uh, set the prop, set you up for success. But it is a review process to be able to qualify you, or even just disqualify you. Where none of our solar solutions are sold without Solar Secure. So Solar Secure is a policy and insurance policy. So many of these, there's a big problem when it comes to integrity. So, nevertheless, even if we have to disqualify you, we will too. None of our products are sold without insurance.
How could this room help you?
Well, we're currently taking on, we do have a beta program that we currently still have active, and that we're looking to learn better what the market needs from us. We're not interested in throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping what sticks. We really want to hear from you. So if you can visit solarview.ai, that's solarview.ai, and fill out our form, and we're happy to hear from you. Whatever it may be, either it's from a business owner and operator perspective, an investor perspective, a community member perspective, or someone from the solar industry.
That's solarview.ai.
That's correct.
SOLARVIEW.ai.
VUE. Thank you for asking, John. It's solar, SOLARVUE
Oh,
dot
okay.
AI.
VUE.
That's correct.
Okay, good. Yeah, because the other thing didn't go anywhere. Oh, all right. Nice. It's a nice website. Wow.
Thank you. And we're only 73 days young, for the record. I
Okay.
am new to the solar industry, but I'm not new to the Fortune 500 space or business, but I am new to solar.
Okay. Well, I hope I wasn't too harsh, but I'm just trying to keep the thing moving along here.
I
And
appreciate you, John. No, no, no. I appreciate the time and the feedback.
excellent. I'd love to, this looks interesting. I hope you come back and let us know how things are going. And if you want to get into the details of how you're using AI exactly. Now, what position are you in this? Are you marketing, or are you with development? Where do you stand with this project?
So I'm the founder. I'm an executive partner. I'm the sole owner. We have no outside investors, no outside political influence. We have no debt, and we have no loans.
Wow, I'm sorry I gave you such a hard time. This is quite an ambitious project, and this one thing there's a lot of noise here on X and on the internet, and so kind of what I'm doing when I give people a hard time is trying to get through the noise. And so just so there's a vetting process, and people that understand that you're the real thing, you can build relationships with much quicker. So I feel like I'm actually
John,
doing you a
John, you know what
service.
the crazy part is? The crazy part is that I'm one of the 300 beta testers for Twitter Spaces before all of you were even here, before we even had a mute button, before any of those things. I'm one of the original 300 beta testers before this was sold to Elon Musk. So I understand now where you're coming from and your perspective on how to vet people here in Twitter Spaces.
Do you appreciate our hosting here at this space? I
I can appreciate that it's a tight bootstrap space. I get it. That's why I was like, I'm just gonna let him do his thing.
Well, thank you. Any pointers you want to DM me, I would love to hear it. Andy is Andy had to Andy, are you still here? Andy has to leave at 1 o'clock often. And your first name?
Sure. My first name is Twan. My last name is Doan. If you go to my twanbdoan.com, it should redirect you to my LinkedIn, and you guys can be able to check out my background and the organizations I've led and whatnot.
Thank you.
I like to say, always trust but verify. Always trust but verify.
Absolutely, and thank you for putting up with me. But I really appreciate that. I see San, and you have your hand up. Would you like to add to the conversation, please?
Oh, yes. How you doing, John? Andy, Zoo, Jack, Dev, Rue, Keith, Liana. Awesome. TVD, I don't know if you did, but please do if you didn't. Portugal. Story about Portugal is the most fascinating story about solar power on the planet. Their major industry was fishing. When they entered the European Union, Germany fucked them up for 70%, where they were left with only less than 20% of a fishing industry. Because they are the country with the most sunny days on the planet, they utilized solar energy to the level that even CERN is consulting with them. 60% of that energy is exported back to the Germany, which is super, super amazing. In Switzerland, I did have, actually, I was approached by the solar company, actually, wind turbine that can be locally installed. And that's fantastic if you can deduct the cost by 10%, because the most of the expenses are actually storage or batteries, which from the maintenance and everything goes in a very, very weird direction. And then the middleman, either you are selling it to the electric distribution or whomever else. So check on them. They're, I think, the best case study for the solar energy. And yeah, John, great space, great people. Jack, love what you shared, and really good luck from the bottom of my heart with the new opportunity. And I know you're gonna win. Dev, great stuff you're doing. I just saw one individual. I hope I am not going to get killed by her. Keith, she's super busy. The monster when it comes to the dev and engineering stuff, and also in the other parts like Beinecke, rare books, and manuscripts library, physics, and everything. Uh, I hope she will come up, but I know like she's super busy. And of course, Liana and Zoo part of my family. And don't let Liana up. The space will rug. Uh, yeah, just saying. No, just kidding. Liana is amazing. She's fam. And yeah, awesome. And yeah, but I'm building, in different direction. I think I washed you out all with all of my stuff. So yeah, great stuff. And TVD, good luck. That's really amazing.
I appreciate that. Thank you, and good luck to you too. Cheers.
Yeah, TVD, please keep us informed and let us know how we're hoping this space become a resource for people like yourself in terms of finding and networking with people that can help you, and having real people here that actually can do what they say they can do. And so and we're having like Sonen's a regular attendee, as well as Zoo, and just a lot of regular people here that are really great. So I don't know if it's something that fit into your day, but we're on the West Coast from 12 to 1, and then we have an after hours a little bit. But yeah, and I'd really like to pick your brain a little bit about Spaces and how all that experience was. Can I ask you a couple questions about what it was like being the beta tester for Spaces and when that started and wh- what was the value determined into keeping this going?
Sure, I'm happy to take that conversation offline. But I gotta take it back to Andy. Thank you so much for kind of looping me in. Andy kind of followed me one day, and I think we had kind of came across each other in a different AI space with tech in schools, and so that's kind of how I kind of got all connected into this specific community and the AI. This is this is my new legal account. So I'm also a journalist, and so I'm very Googleable. But that being said, that's my journalism account is where Andy and I probably cross paths. And so, nevertheless, that's how I kind of got in here. I'm happy to see how we can figure out and how I can join you guys and maybe bring an added value, of course. But yeah, John, I'm happy to connect offline and provide you any contact information in the DMs. Thank you for having me.
Awesome, thank you. And I would love to hear from Kit if you can speak, if you're not busy. Also, Leanna, i- it is 11:11 or 1:11 or 3. Um, I think I have quite a lot to do. Unless there's some people that really want to speak, I think we're going to close it down a little bit early today in the after space. I've got a lot going on and a lot to do. My LLM models were offline for a little bit last night, and I couldn't get to what I wanted to get to, and so I was a little behind. I need to catch up a little on on some work. But if there's anyone who wants to add to the conversation, please raise your hand. If not, and Jack, I just can't, thank you enough. Zoo, do you want to say a word or two? Just say hello. You don't have to if you don't want to.
I just want to say hello because you guys basically forced me or provoked me to come here, take the mic, because I really appreciate you guys, and I've been selfish, just mostly listening, learning. As Sanin said in the early when you started the space, negative prompting. So learning negatively, but also positively. Basically, what not to do, what not to say, what to say, what to do. But really, Andy and John, great work. And also want to say hi to Sanin, of course. Man, thank you so much, Sanin, for being you and coming to speak with us. Thank you, sir. And also hi, Kit, Liana, also Jot. I don't know you, but basically, yeah, I've listened to you a couple of times. Super appreciate what you're doing. Also, very interesting. And also, the solar project or a related project is interesting. I'm working with debt, equity, different types of financing. Not that they're looking for that, but one of the companies we're working for do mini solar farms, and we're looking for them for 100 megawatts, which is roughly $100 million cost. And we're kind of like going through hurdles because they're mini farms. There's a lot of distribution for land. And that's just one of the projects I'm working on right now, just to give a very quick like background.
Thank you. And I'm just curious, Zoo, just because you've been coming here so regularly. What value, I mean, is it just entertaining, or do you actually find nuggets that are helpful in your day-to-day business? What's the value that this space has been brought to you? Because we have a meeting today, and we're kind of focusing in on what we're bringing and why and what's the purpose of it, and just clarity. I mean, I think we've done it enough now that we are something, but I want to refine that even better. And I appreciate your opinion on this. So if you could give me a little understanding of does it add actual value to your day to day, or is it just entertaining, or why you keep showing up?
I think I think it's a good mix of both, to be very honest with you. Especially when one like before today, you guys aren't necessarily disciplinarians. You're just being too open, flexible, not too much. Just it's your space, right? So when it's like that, I would enjoy kind of listening. It would be entertainment. But when you have once you have more discipline, it's another level. Like I think today was different, even though like quick, but it was super different because today was more useful. Like I'm doing background check on someone who came here, their company. I'm interested in them. Not to help them, but I do like what I do every day is I vet people. I don't know, like the other day I had a project from the USA. I was super like, I'm very bullish on the US and so on. And I want to work with that project. And it's actually a project that would probably benefit from the tariffs. So I'm like, hey, risk proof, future proof, so on. And the guy involved, one of the co-founders, I found out a whole SEC lawsuit against him. So I blocked everyone. I'm out. So basically, I think there's a muscle I'm trying to train also, which is the vetting muscle, doing due diligence, not only on people, of course, but on companies, structures, business models, history, all of that. And being kind of in line, like seeing live what people are trying to do, especially the misconceptions. And I think Sanin is doing great work on misconceptions with you guys because, sometimes we kind of we get over, how do you say that? You get high on your own stash, It's like, oh, we're ahead of the curve. I'm using this model and I translated this document and blah, blah, blah. Okay, that means nothing. I'd like to kind of take the time some other day to tell about kind of my story because it had a lot of AI, a lot of kind of crossing hurdles, a lot of obstacles. Basically, it was mostly obstacles, and AI was always a tool to a pre-existing skill that you have. I've never seen AI as an actual intelligence, but I don't know who called it once. Saw it on YouTube. Called it augmented intelligence. So if you're trying to multiply zero, you're gonna end up with zero. That's what I'm trying to say. So for example, me knowing 4 languages, I can make 4 legal documents in 4 languages that I know for sure are exact translation, but I don't know the legal, soundness of them. So I'm gonna go to a lawyer. But I can use AI to produce a draft and then build on it, at least to explain what I want and not have 6 hours of a meeting. And he would tell me, this is illegal, this is illegal, this is not legal, this is not permissible. So I already have a draft where he can like correct it. It's faster. I I work with lawyers internationally. They get paid by the hour. It's expensive. I wasted thousands, tens of thousands on that because of AI, for example. But I had to know the language and I had to know my shortcomings. And I think this is why I come here, John. It's, to help me know all of that because everyone is trying hard, doing their best. We all have our own mythologies. So it's just healthy to be here because it sucks. Because most of us are broke because this stuff like prompt engineering is difficult. Um, People have misconceptions. They speak 6 hours, they think it's true, and then 4 years go by, they make nothing. They make nothing out of it. They're not improving. So that's what I'm trying to evade. Basically, is a closed system is a system that dies. Basically, so I force myself to come here even though I'm very busy. That's why I stay as a listener because I'm trying to build so much. You have no idea. And yeah, I'm trying to steal the good ideas and to avoid the the bad ones.
Wow, Zoo, thank you for sharing all of that. I would love to have you as a guest and go into your origin story and what your interests were, your growing up, and then what brought you here. Human beings interest me so much, and I really, I think that it, to humanize someone's experience and then for people to put the dots together. I always had this experience where I don't care who the person was or how much I couldn't stand them, but if I got to work with them and know them, it was hard for me to really still dislike them because I understood more about them and how they got there. I guess I'm really an empathetic person, not meaning anything, but so I think, if you initially like somebody, to hear that backstory and to understand, and that builds a lot of bonds, and it also, you find commonalities, and everybody, well, not most everybody has everybody has an experience of being a child once in their lives, and so, there's all these commonalities, and so I think it's super important, and trust is something that can't be artificially created. So yeah, and I love what you said about coming here to see what works and what doesn't work. I think we've all had experience of going down rabbit holes with these AI models only to find out that they were just full of shit and bringing us down the wrong path. And I think that you stating that the value that you're finding here is to try to avoid that is huge. And it's really helpful for me to understand these things so I can continue to yeah, I'm just a bit of a knucklehead, holding on to the lever of the ship, kind of moving it around while smarter people are, navigating and doing all these other things. But I can do that pretty well. So that's one thing I like to do. And today we had a meeting, and yes, we did step it up a notch. You had noticed that, and I think a little guidance with me goes a long way. I'm very coachable, so I want to make this the best possible space available for the people that take their time out to attend. And of course, the space is only as good as the people that show up. So you've brought us up another level, Zoo, by speaking. I'm going to give you the last word today, and I'll DM you, and we'll figure out a time if you're interested, where you can tell your story. And really, the one thing that I really want to provide is where people, they come here, they tell their story, we record it, it's good enough so you can use it as an introduction to people or something like that. Because putting together kind of a little bio or story of your life or something that's interesting involved with AI is just too much thought and effort. Who cares? But if you can come here, ask a little questions, or answer some questions, have some banter, then you have something that might be usable for that purpose. I don't know if you'd find any value in that. But your last word, Sue.
So last words are thank you for pushing me to go from listener to speaker, and for pushing the space, from you becoming, merely a listener to forcing people to speak properly. So I thank you for that. It already had so much value because of the time you put in. And I think it's only going to get better from now, especially when you're more kind of rough on the edges. But thank you so much for everything you've done so far, and looking forward for what you're going to do soon. I'm going to make sure to speak more. So I'm part of the new disciplinarians. Thank you so much, guys.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay, well, I've done some good work today through some guidance from some smart people. Jack's off the chart, Zoo, Sannon, Andy, of course, Liana, Kit. I can't wait to hear from you. Dev, hero story for sure. And Raru and everyone else who's here. And TVD, we're going to be talking about a little bit offline. I really appreciate you coming up and sharing what you did. Please share this with people that you know. I think the quality is more important than quantity for this space. But if you know people that you feel can benefit from coming here, I really appreciate if you'd share this space with them and show up consistently, and so we can all get to know each other, and we will all improve ourselves through that. I mean, it's kind of a crazy concept, but people steel sharpens steel. It's kind of a corny thing, but it's true. So thank you, everybody, and we're going to close up shop, and we will see everyone tomorrow, Friday the 14th. All right, thank you.